The room was quiet before she entered. That was the first thing Adrian noticed. Not because the silence was peaceful, it wasn't. Peace has a softness to it. Peace lets the room breathe. This silence was different. This silence was arranged. It had been built deliberately, piece by piece, the way Adrian built everything else. The lights were dim but even. The table had been cleared of anything that did not belong there. One folder sat in the center, squared to the edge of the table. One pen sat beside it, aligned perfectly with the folder's spine. A tablet rested on the right side, screen awake, notes open, timeline visible. No extra paper, no loose cup, no unopened envelope. Nothing that could distract from what the room was meant to do. The room was built for clarity. That was how Adrian preferred things. People misunderstood that about him. They called it control because control was easier to criticize than discipline. They called it obsession because obsession sounded unstable, and unstable was a useful word when someone wanted to dismiss a man without answering him. But Adrian did not see it that way. He believed a room should serve its purpose. He believed a conversation should have a reason. He believed a document should say what it meant and a person should mean what they said. That belief had cost him more than money. It had cost him relationships. It had cost him the ability to pretend. He sat at the long table in the formal room of the estate, one hand resting beside the folder, the other still. The house around him was enormous, but it did not feel full. It felt preserved, not abandoned, not haunted. Preserved. Like a museum built around a life that had not fully ended but had stopped letting people wander through it casually. The estate had belonged to a trust for years. That was the clean way to say it, the accurate way. A structure built when there was still enough faith in the future to make long-term plans. A trust designed to protect assets, protect property, protect legacy, protect all the things people think they are protecting. When they still believe the people signing documents will remain recognizable to each other. The trust had a maturity date. That was the part that mattered. Until that date, the estate could not be fully divided. The property could not be split cleanly. The assets could not be redistributed without mutual consent and procedural approval. Adrian and Marissa were no longer married in any meaningful emotional sense. They had no desire to repair anything, no longing, no unfinished romance, no secret hope buried under resentment. But the trust did not care about longing. The trust did not care about resentment. It existed because paper outlives feeling. That was why she was coming, not because she belonged there, because the structure still allowed her to enter. Adrian looked down at the timeline on the tablet. Every meeting related to the trust had been logged. Every change in language, every delayed response, every request for clarification that was answered with a new question. He was not documenting because he wanted a fight. He documented because reality had become too easy for other people to revise. He had learned that if something was not written down, someone would later say it happened differently. If something was written down, they would say the context was wrong. If the context was written down, they would question the tone. So he tracked everything, not to win. In person, it was worse. The man wore a dark jacket Adrian recognized immediately, not the exact one, but close enough to be uncomfortable. Same cut, same general silhouette, watch on the same wrist, shoes in the same family, not identical. That would have been too obvious. This was more disturbing because it was approximate, a version assembled from observation, not understanding. Marissa had not chosen a man who was nothing like Adrian. She had chosen a man who could be arranged to suggest she had upgraded him. The man stood behind her, trying to look composed. Adrian noticed the effort. Real stillness does not announce itself. It settles. This man's stillness was being performed. Marissa smiled first. That was also part of the performance. "Adrian," she said, like the name was a room she no longer liked entering. He nodded once. "Marissa." Prince barked immediately, sharp, unnecessary, too loud for the space. Marissa tightened her hold. "Prince? No." The dog did not stop because the command did not mean anything. It was a sound she made because people were watching. Adrian looked at the dog, then at her hand pressed against its side. He said nothing. The new man stepped forward. "Good to finally meet you," he said. The voice was wrong. Not wrong in sound, wrong in placement. It had a practiced calm over it, an attempt at steadiness that did not come from the inside. Adrian had heard men talk that way in negotiations when they wanted to seem less threatened than they were. But there was something else inside it too. An imitation of cadence, a borrowed idea of restraint. Adrian looked at him for 1 second longer than courtesy required. "Is it?" Adrian asked. The man blinked. Marissa shifted before he could respond. "We're not here for that." Her tone snapped, then immediately softened when she realized the snap had shown. "We're here to be productive." Productive. Adrian logged the word mentally, a word he used often, a word she used to mock, a word she now wore like a coat she had bought after seeing it on him. He gestured to the chairs across from him. "Then sit." Marissa sat first, placing Prince in her lap, but keeping both hands on him. The dog remained upright, front paws braced against her forearm, eyes moving around the room as if waiting for an excuse to react. The new man sat beside her, not beside Prince. That detail told Adrian something. The dog outranked him in the room, and he knew it. Adrian opened the folder. "We're here to review the trustee communication from last week and confirm the acknowledgement language before the next compliance deadline." Marissa leaned forward slightly. "Yes, we just want to make sure everything is consistent." There it was again. Consistent. Adrian's eyes lifted. He did not accuse, he did not smirk. He did not give her the satisfaction of visible recognition. He simply saw it. Marissa had spent years resenting his language, then more years adopting pieces of it once she realized language could be used as leverage. She did not understand consistency as a principle. She understood it as a costume. If she said the right words, she believed she could borrow the authority behind them. Prince growled. Low, ridiculous, but disruptive enough to change the air. Marissa touched his head. "He's just sensitive to energy." Adrian looked at the dog, then at the walls, then back at her. "This room does not have energy," he said. "It has people in it." The new man let out a small breath through his nose. Not quite a laugh, more like a warning escaping before he could stop it. Adrian turned his eyes to him. The man straightened. Marissa saw the shift and jumped in. "Can we not do this?" she asked. "We haven't started doing anything. You know what I mean. I know what you want me to infer." Prince barked again. This time Marissa lifted him higher, pressing him against her chest. The move was automatic. Not affection. Not comfort. Shielding. She had done it without thinking, which made it honest. That was the thing about Marissa. Her words were rarely honest. Her reflexes almost always were. Adrian watched her hold the dog between herself and the conversation. The new man reached toward the folder. Adrian closed it with 2 fingers before the man touched it. The room went still. Marissa's eyes flashed. Seriously? Adrian did not look away from the man. "You're not a party to the trust. He's here with me. He can sit with you. He cannot review documents he has no standing to review." The man leaned back, jaw tightening. The reaction was not large, but it was enough. Adrian had seen that expression on himself once, years earlier, in a reflection after a meeting with men who thought calm meant weakness. He had trained it out of his face. This man was still wearing the untrained version. Marissa adjusted Prince again. "He's helping me understand the process." Adrian's gaze returned to her. "The process is in writing. Not everyone lives in paperwork, Adrian. No. Some people live in borrowed language." The words landed harder than he intended, or maybe exactly as hard as he intended. It was difficult to tell sometimes. Precision did not always prevent impact. Sometimes it sharpened it. Marissa's face changed, just briefly. The smile disappeared. The softness vanished. Underneath was the real thing: annoyance, threat, embarrassment, and something close to panic. Not panic that she had been misunderstood. Panic that she had been seen. Prince barked again. This time, Adrian did not glance at the dog. He watched Marissa. "You don't control anything," he said quietly. The room seemed to narrow around the sentence. Marissa froze. Prince squirmed in her arms. Adrian continued. "You just hold on to it until it looks like you do." The new man shifted in his chair. Marissa's grip tightened around the dog. "That's not what this is," she said. Adrian looked at Prince, then at the man beside her, then back at her. "No," he said, "it isn't." Because by then he understood the problem was bigger than the dog. The dog was just the easiest thing to see. The trust was the reason she still had access. The house was the place where access became visible. The man beside her was not a partner. He was a reconstruction. A curated version of traits she had once resented in Adrian, now repackaged as proof that she had chosen better. His jacket, his watch, his attempt at restraint, his posture. All of it suggested she had not moved on so much as rebuilt the shape of what she left and called it different. That was Marissa's pattern. Every man was new until he became useful. Every relationship was an upgrade until the same problems returned. Every boyfriend or husband was presented like evidence that she had evolved. And when that evidence stopped working, she found another exhibit. She did not love people cleanly. She arranged them. She dressed them in meaning. She made them proof. Proof that she was wanted. Proof that she was right. Proof that the last failure was not her pattern, but the last man's flaw. Adrian had once been proof too. Then he became the problem. Now, the man beside her had been built to prove Adrian was replaceable. But replacement requires understanding what the original was. Marissa had never understood Adrian. She understood what Adrian looked like from the outside. That was not the same thing. The meeting continued, technically. Papers were reviewed. Deadlines were acknowledged. The new man said less after that. Marissa over-explained simple points and resisted complicated ones. Prince interrupted 3 more times, each time providing her a small escape hatch from whatever question she did not want to answer. By the end, nothing had been resolved except the thing Adrian already knew. The trust was not the trap. The trust was the excuse. The real trap was being forced to sit across from someone who had turned his identity into a costume and then acted offended when he recognized the fabric. When Marissa finally stood, Prince tucked under one arm, folder untouched by anyone but the actual parties, she looked toward the door before looking at Adrian. "We'll respond by Friday," she said. "We?" Adrian asked. She paused. Prince gave a low, satisfied sound. The new man stepped closer to her. Marissa lifted her chin. "Yes, we." Adrian nodded once. Then make sure the response comes from someone authorized to give it. Her face tightened. Then she left. The new man followed. Prince barked once from the hallway, as if claiming victory over a room he had never controlled. When the door closed, the silence returned. But it was not the same silence. The room had been marked by them. Adrian sat alone at the table and looked at the empty chair where Marissa had been. Then the chair beside it. Then the faint indentation Prince's paws had left on the edge of the folder when he tried to climb forward. He took out his pen, opened the tablet, added one note beneath the meeting entry. Not emotional, not dramatic, just accurate. Imitation has entered the room. And below that, after a long pause, he wrote, "It is not stable."